you're an online coach, business, service-based business, or just a media buyer looking to improve their skills, with advertising so that they can attract more customers, attract more clients, then you need to read this book, right? Cashvertising, right? It is one of the best books I've read on advertising today, and it's a 9 out of 10 in my book, right? Guys, study this book. This is coming from someone who runs a marketing agency. I've been advertising for online businesses for a long time now, since 2021, right? Starting off in ecom, and the best marketers, if you want to study in the marketers, the best marketers are in ecom, because your margin of error is so small when you're selling products and services with less than like $100. But you can see here of us getting results for our clients consistently. We've done it for e-com, we've done it for digital products, we've done it even high ticket as well, right? We've done this consistently, so just trust me. When it comes to advertising, I know what I'm talking about, and this book is a gold mine, right? So I'm gonna instead of you going to read the whole book yourself, right, I recommend you still do that, but I'm gonna be sharing the key insights and principles that I've got from this that has helped me consistently create ads that win for clients, that attracts clients and gets clients more money, more sales consistently, no matter what industry I'm in, for whether that's been e-com, whether that's been service-based businesses, whether that's been lead gen. I've literally advertised for all kinds of different industries, and I've always got results because I focus on the principles. And the principles, especially from this book, is psychology, right? Psychology is what is going to, while advertising platforms, they are constantly changing. That's going to be a constant, right? The thing that remains the same is humans, understanding humans, how they think, how they act, like what drives them. You need to focus on that if you want to be successful with your advertising. And I'm going to be sharing, and this book goes over many tactics and strategies, strategies and principles, right, on doing that. And I'm going to be covering some of them on this call, right? So in what we're going to cover, so we're going to go from chapter 1, selling what people really want, the 8 core desires that are biologically programmed into us, that if you tap into, is going to make your ad so much more effective, right? The 9 secondary ones that we learn from society. We're going to go over the 17 foundational principles of consumer psychology, right? From the fear factor, ego morphing, bandwagon effect, etc. Okay. Then in chapter 3, it's going to go over the 41 proven techniques for selling anything to everyone. I'm only covering 13 because those are the ones that's applicable, in this day and age. A lot of this was written back when there was, newspapers was actually still a thing. So not all of them necessarily apply to this day and time. And then we're going to go over the 101 easy ways to boost your ad response. I didn't include all 101. I'm just using the ones that stood out to me the most, right? So first, right, why this book is so critical and what I need you guys to understand is this is timeless information, right? This is timeless information because what you need to do when you understand human psychology, that makes your advertising very, very simple for you to do, right? And it gives you tactics to actually tap into that. And that's why this book is so powerful. And yeah, that's why I definitely recommend it. So, while mediums, like I said, will say, while algorithms and medias change, this, human psychology doesn't. So number 1 is the concept of the life force 8, right? So the key insight that I got from this is that there's 8 primary biological wants that's ingrained into every human. This is like biologically programmed into us, right? Now, if you want to make better ads, you want to have messaging that connects to one of the 8 of these core desires, at least one of these core desires, because that's what people really care about and that's what people want. So the first one is survival, enjoyment of life, and life extension, right? Selling products that relates to people's actually surviving or just enjoying their life, right? It's great, right? The second one is enjoyment of food and beverages. The third is freedom from fear and pain, from fear, pain, and danger. Sexual companionship, comfortable living conditions, to be superior, keeping up with the Joneses, right? Care and protection of loved ones, and social approval, right? So, let's say you're running ads, like for example, I'm running right now like a lot of clients that are helping people make more money, right? or a client that's helping people land a job as a business analyst, right? Now, how can I connect wanting to be a program teaching people how to be business analysts to one of these core eight, right? Now, I'll go into, okay, I'll think about, okay, what are the outcomes that can be achieved from being a business analyst? One of them is comfortable living conditions, right? They can make more money so that they can have a more comfortable life, right? Next is, care and protection of their loved ones, right? So with this career, the benefits of this career is that first, it can make you more money, and two, you can work from home so you can spend more time with your family, right? Care and protection of loved ones. If you're there all the time, you can care and protect your loved ones, right? And if you have more money, you have more of a means to protect your loved ones. It's all about relating what you're doing, whatever you're doing, whatever you're marketing, back to one of these core eight things, right? I have clients that are in skincare, right? And with skincare, that are helping people get clear skin. How can a product that is talking about people getting clear skin connect to one of these core eight, right? Well, one thing I could pick out is, sexual companionship, right? This is a big one. It's a big one, right? Like, you clear your skin, you're a lot more attractive, so you can find a mate. You can literally have ads that's literally I've seen this with a lot of marketers. There's this one brand, right? There's this one brand that has skincare, that has skincare specifically for men, and it'll have women in all the ads, like treating the man with the clear skin, with like just so well. Like you can literally see this, what they're doing in the ad, right? They're making it, they're getting you to associate the end goal of, the result of what the product sells as getting clear skin with you, attracting attracting the opposite gender. So it works really well for men. Still does for women as well. I have a client that's, teach people how to make money with land flipping. How can I relate that back to one of these core eight? Well, it helps you make more money so you can take care of your loved ones, right? You can actually enjoy your life, right? You can go around. You don't need to be attached to one place. You can do this job, this opportunity from your laptops, etc. Right? You can teach people. I'm relating the ads. I'm getting the ads and relating it back to this, because this is what people really want. This is the core desires that's literally ingrained in every human. If you can get what you're selling, and relate it back to these core eight, you will have much better ads, I promise you, right? So so we're going to the application, the make money offers, right? So you don't just want to sell make money as your only benefit. How can you go deeper and relate it to one of the core eight? So number one, so I related it. So for example, one of them is a make money offer, right? So make money offer, how can I relate it to one of these core eight? So what I picked is Life Force 1 and Life Force 3, which is survival, enjoyment of life extension, freedom from fear, pain, and danger, right? And what else? Yeah, so protect yourself from AI taking your job. Be self-sufficient so you're not reliant on your boss. Protect your pension from being stolen by inflation so you can retire comfortably, right? I have a client that's teaching people how to invest, and make more money from investing, right? Protect your pension being stolen by inflation so you can retire comfortably. If you have that in a headline or one of your ads or in any of your messaging, that speaks to a lot more people than just talking about investing, Life Force 5, for example, invest in moving. You can invest into moving into a nice area with low crime, right? Or put a deposit on your first house if you can make more money, right? So another thing is, you be financially strong enough to protect your loved ones financially, right? Retire your parents, allow your wife to start working, give your children a better education. These are the benefits you need to be selling when you are marketing your product. You need to relate everything, what you have, back to one of these core eight, right? So all sales is finding out what people want and framing your product or your service as a way to get what they want. People already want things, right? They already desire things. You're just tapping into their desire. Sales, find out what people want and frame what you have as a thing that's going to help them get what they want. That's literally all you need to do, right? And this is how you go deeper and you connect. And when you connect things to selling what people actually want, what people actually already desire, your ads will go so much further, right? So the second one is the 9 second learned wants, right? So wants to be informed, curiosity, cleanliness of body and surroundings, efficiency, convenience, dependability, expression, economy, profit, right? Now economy, profit is a big one, right? And bargains, right? So it was great, like one of them, it made money off us, yeah. So when you say, okay, this can help you make more money, that is surface level. It's surface level. Why do people want to make more money? That isn't surface level. Why people want to make more money is so that, okay, for many different reasons, to protect their loved ones, enjoyment of life, tap into those things, you have much better ads. But telling them they're going to make more money itself that's a learned want. Like just the money itself, like that's a shallow way of going of marketing to people and actually speaking to people's desires, because this is a learned one. It's not really necessarily biologically programmed into us, right? So we weren't born with these, we learned them, and although they are effective, they're just not as powerful as the Life Force 8. So what you want to do with these is these learned ones, still try to connect it with one of the Life Force 8, right? Cool. Next is the 17 foundational principles of consumer psychology. The one is the fear factor, selling the scare. So this is an easy one. You want to, this is why the news is so negative and everything online, and a lot of things are so negative because people love drama. But our brain is designed first to protect us, right? So it has to get really good at identifying threats, right? So this is why selling the scare is really good. So if you're selling anything like, for easy one with make money offers is AI coming to replace everyone. That's a big scare for people, right? Right? And how can your product and service solve that, right? Next is egomorphing, instant gratification, identity. So appealing to the identity the customer wants, right? So you see a lot of this with fashion brands, mostly with fashion brands where they they have positive associations with their with their clothes, right? This is why brands, they want to put their clothes on celebrities or celebrities or people that are at the top of their space, right? Because people buy those things because they aspire to be a certain way, right? So you really want to get good at identity, like selling to people's identity is so powerful, because identity is literally the deepest level of change, and then our behaviors follow identity. So if you're trying to sell someone something and it's not in line with the person that they are or the person that they aspire to be would buy, you're not going to get the sale. But if you frame it as something they want to buy, like that a current identity wants to buy, or their identity that they're aspiring to be wants to buy, you can get that sale, right? And you'll sell a lot more, right? Next thing is transfer, which is like leverage authority, right? So this is credibility by osmosis, gaining credibility by leveraging authority. So you do see this a lot with like ecom, or just anything where they said, oh, as featured in, and they're featured in Forbes or they're featured in this sort of thing, because all these publications, people are already aware of them, right? They're like they people know, like, and trust them because they have a high level of awareness. If you can show that or just associate yourself with that, you get the same benefits literally by osmosis. So this is why this is the thing of like leveraging authority, right? Number 4 is the bandwagon effect, social proof. Everyone talked about this. Social proof, you want to get as much testimonials or as many people saying good and positive things about you and your products. Yeah, makes sense. That's the most common one. The means ends chain, right? So what's in it for me? What's in it for me? You want to ask that question every single time you're going through your copy, you're going through your whatever you're going through or marketing. What's in it for me, right? You want to have that question be at the top of their mind, because you need to sell what people want. right? A lot of times people will have a product or service and they only tell about the features, right? But you need to relate it back to what people want, right? It has this feature, so for example, easy one with one of the clients is selling skincare, right? They have these ingredients, these natural ingredients, right? You can talk about, okay, this helps reduce inflammation, right? This helps reduce inflammation. So, but if you just say that, okay, cool, that's just one level, right? But why do I care, right? What's in it for me, right? It reduces inflammation, and this is what reduces the redness on your skin. Now that's very important to someone who probably has, like, let's say if they have acne, because a lot of it is having that like redness, and this is what literally makes it your skin just stand out, like, right? So that's an example. The trans theoretical model, so persuasion step by step, moving people through different stages of awareness, right? So persuasion step by step, moving people through the different levels of awareness. So if you know anything about marketing, you have your top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, right? And your whole essence with the marketing is getting more people from the top of funnel down to your bottom of funnel, right? Bottom of funnel is where people buy. Middle of funnel, people have awareness of who you are. Top of funnel is like they have no awareness of who you are, right? So you want to keep on moving people through the different levels of awareness and bringing them down to the bottom of funnel. And a great way you can do this is through content, right? Content attracts people, but also educates people, gets people to know, like, and trust you, and it moves people down, eventually down to the bottom of funnel, right? Inoculation theory, make them prefer you for life. Vaccinate your customers against counter arguments by addressing them first, right? Warning of the opposing argument, weak attack, and encourage a strong defense, right? So this is a great one with what you can do. Why? Because you want to, like, people are going to have objections with, or questions that are unanswered with anything that you do, pretty much, right? If you can if you can just answer them prior, it just reduces the amount of resistance, right? What this does is it reduces resistance to where you're trying to get them to go, right? So you want people to move in a particular direction. They're gonna have certain resistance with questions, objections, reason why it couldn't work, or what other people are saying. If you can just get to them first, and actually address it immediately, right? You remove the resistance and you get a better flow of people moving into the direction that you do want them to go. Belief re-ranking. So this is changing their reality through belief shifting, right? So this is a great one, right? One of the hardest things to do is shift people's beliefs. One of the hardest things to do, because their beliefs are tied into their identity, and identity is something that most people don't want to change, right? So if you want to convince people to buy your product or service, think about what beliefs will be aligned to someone who buys my product or service. What beliefs would they have? What identity would they have, right? And if you can, through a series of providing evidence or asking the right questions, shift people's beliefs or thinking in a particular direction that that aligns with buying your product or service, you're going to sell more of your product or service, right? Next is elaboration likelihood model. So this is central route processing and peripheral route processing. So this talks about facts, logics, and figures, right? This is convincing people through feelings, emotions, and heuristics, right? If you want the most effective for your marketing is using both. You want to, tap on emotions, feelings, but also provide the facts and logic, etc. Okay? Right. Number 10, 6 weapons of influence, from comparison, liking, authority, reciprocation, commitment, consistency, scarcity, right? So people, this is, if any of you have read how to, what's called, like the 6 weapons of influence by Cialdini, it goes through this like in detail. But if people like you more, they're gonna they're gonna probably buy from you more. Yeah, if you if you're an authority figure in the space, people want to buy from you. Reciprocation. So you give, get back. An easy way you can do this, like this is literally what I'm doing now, is giving out content, giving out free information, right? And then that can be reciprocated if it's a business owner and it's someone that can actually help by them paying me money and then becoming a client, or just learning from me how to do this themselves, right? Commitment, consistency. This goes into the principle that people want to be committed, consistent with their, again, identity, right? With their past actions or what they've said, especially when they've said it publicly as well. People want to want to keep consistent with the public, with the identity, and especially if it's a public one, especially their public identities and ideas, right? So you can leverage this, especially with the identity framing. If you can get people, tap into people's aspiring identity, right? And put your product or service as something that's in line with what that kind of person buys. Easy way, right? Next is scarcity. Obviously, yeah, the lesser something is, the more valuable it is, right? Okay. Next is message organization, attaining critical clarity. So writing very simply in plain language at a fifth grade level will generate more response. It needs to be simple, easy to comprehend, right? Examples versus statistics. The answer is examples are more persuasive than statistics, but using both together gives you the best results, right? So demonstrating examples. So let's say you're in info, having case studies, right? This is a great one, but then also having statistics as well with the numbers. You want to combine both. It makes it a lot more powerful. Message sidedness, dual role persuasion. Presenting the alternative arguments with your own. Presenting alternative arguments with your own, right? When you can bring in the other points, the other objections, and just answer them. We were talking about this earlier. Then you'll be a lot more persuasive because you seem fair. You seem less biased because you're presenting the other argument at the same time, right? Repetition and redundancies. This is just getting people like super familiar with you. Rhetorical questions, right? This helps with retaining information, evidence. Obviously, you want to give evidence, facts, proof. Proof is your god. The more proof that you have, the better, right? Heuristics, 7 billions of lazy people daily. The longer people up. Heuristics, basically, it just goes into the principle, the longer time people spend with you, the more trust and belief is actually built, right? So, 41 techniques of selling anything to anyone, right? So, first is directing mental movies. So, this is an easy one to implement, is you just being a lot more descriptive with whatever product or service that you're marketing, right? So you want to tap in on the five senses. You want to make the reader experience the benefits or the pain that you wanna share with them, right? Long versus short copy. Long copy typically converts better because you convince the people who want more information, right? There's going to be a very small minority of people that will just take action straight away. There are a lot more people that just want to consume a lot of information first, right? So the more information you can give someone, typically the better. One is bombarding with benefits, right? You want to put the biggest benefit in your headline, and you want to lead with benefits because that's what people really care about. And you want to have those benefits connect directly to one of the core 8, right? Power your ad with pictures. You want to show, don't tell. Offer testing, so different frames and packaging your offer, right? Test your offers all the time, guys. Test your offer. I want to be testing your offers all the time, right? Next to the guillotine principle, image of a human face, especially the head, looking at the reader is the best attention grabber. So having like super close-ups of people typically captures more attention. You see this a lot with like YouTube thumbnails, like they'll have a big face there with the eyes like looking at you, as a ways of of capturing attention, right? Grab them with grabbers, incentives, gifts, lead magnets, So yeah, just giving like a freebie, something to attract your ideal audience. Right. Power of questions, creating open loops. Right, you want to create open loops and risk reversal guarantees. So powerful guarantees like a 1 year or double your money back or bottom of the bottle guarantees. Also effective technique in helping selling things to people. Right? So 101 ways to boost your ad response. Again, I'm not going through the whole 101, right? But easy ways is using short and simple words, writing long copy, boiling it down. So just cutting the fluff out of stuff. Start desire by piling on the benefits. Show what you're selling, and action shots are best. Say you. Powerful adjectives to create mental movies. Always include testimonials. Proof is your god, right? And make it very easy and simple for people to actually act, right? Next is setting a deadline to break inertia, right? Ways to convey value is diminish the price, right? Less than a cup of coffee a day. You see, I've seen this. There's this really good brand that does this, like Space Goods. They'll have on their coffee thing. It'll just be like they'll break it down into days, right? So you have a product that you sell. Let's say it's a consumable product, it lasts like 30 days, and you break it down to what it is a day so that it seems very, very small, like very minuscule, right? Explain why the price is so low, bus order too many, right? Or explain even why the price is high too. You can also do that too. Boost the value, tell people what it's worth, not only what it costs. Tell people what it's worth, right? So this can go into tell people as well, like how much time and effort it took for you to actually go and actually and actually create this product. What was the process? So for example, let's say if you have a product, if you want something to be differentiated from other people, right? You can go into how you actually make this product, maybe you're hand making it, right? All of this stuff displays and shows value, right? Now tell others have you. Tell how much others have paid, right? So to convey value, if other people have paid, if you have a light, for example, this is great for promoting, let's say, different offers for, like, if you have a low ticket thing or like a membership or a digital product, right? You can anchor what people would pay for like one-on-one mentorship with you, right? It can anchor that. I was like, okay, some people are paying like 5,000 for one-on-one mentorship, but you can get the exact same thing of what they get, but only like $500 as a digital product. You just don't get the one-to-one, right? So by anchoring what other people have paid to like a higher service, it kind of and if you're selling something lower than that, then it conveys that thing is very valuable. Right, ways to boost coupon returns. Say buy one get one free instead of 50% off. Use free at the top of your ad. Set a hard firm deadline, right? Or first 100 people. So that's a good one as well. So we do this especially a lot with ecom. We have the buy one get one frees or setting a hard deadline, which can be like for example right now, depending on when you're watching this, right? Right now we're running Black Friday, right? It ends. We state very clearly the offer ends on the Monday, right? So having that end date, having an end date or like a deadline, it gets people to act now, right? Or okay, or like first 100 people. So for example, first 100 people that do this, etc. This is or you only accepting an extra 50 or 100 people this month. You see what I mean? You see where I'm going with this, right? Okay. And then there's the 46-point ad killer checklist, right? So these are the series of questions that kind of helps you guide your writing and guide your writing and guide your you when you're creating copy. So first is the headline, right? So does it feature the biggest benefit, which is the most important rule? Is it a real grabber, right? Does it elicit an emotional response? Does it use any of the 22 psychologically potent headline formulas? Is it in quotes? This can boost reading like 25%. And then for the body copy, does it naturally flow from your headline? Does it Does it get right into the benefits of the reader instead of bragging about the company? Right? Does it force them to read the second sentence? Is it you in the first few words? Right? And these are all things to help you guide your thinking when it comes to when you're actually writing copy. So what a great thing that you can do if you're marketing, right? You're writing ads, you're writing a copy, then coming back and just analyzing and just going through this series of questions to train you and see where you can improve with your copy, right? So does it follow this rule, which is the get attention, stimulate interest, build desire, offer proof, act for action? Basically, all your marketing can kind of be boiled down to this, right? Getting attention first, stimulating the interest, right? Building desire, having some proof there, and then asking for the action, right? And in terms of action notes, is it easy to read? You want to make sure things easy to read, right? Is there good white space available? Do you use photos and illustrations in your sales message? So you always want to use some kind of video or like pictures. You want to show and tell, right? You want to show and tell. It's not show, don't tell, show and tell, right? Right, and do you feature a person looking at you? Boom. So these are the main points I got from this book, right? Oh, missed off on the body copy. So does it focus on how the reader will benefit, right? Again, you have to have a focus on this, right? Okay, body copy first sentence. Right, and this is body copy general. So yeah, your body copy, this is either ad format or even if you're writing VSLs or anything, right? And any VSLs or anything like that, you want to get it following this little format over here. But does it focus on how the reader will benefit? Does it tell your readers why they should buy from you rather than your competitors? Is it believable? So you don't want overblown or ridiculous offers or promises, right? You want to make it very, very, realistic, right? Is it emotional? Right? Does it create emotion, positive or negative? Right? You always want to be tapping in on emotions, right? With your copy, right? Do you tell your readers what you want them to do in a very simple, in a super simple way? You want to be very clear the action that you want people to take. Do you use testimonials? If you don't have them, get them. Do you set a deadline if appropriate? Most of the time it is. And if you have lots of benefits to offer, do you list them in a bullet or numbered form? Yeah. So yeah, I say this book is definitely a must read for anyone who wants to learn more about direct response marketing. You can really go so far ahead with just that one book, right? Because it's tapping in on timeless principles and it's tapping in on human psychology, right? Now, the real key with this is you can take this stuff and attach it with if you just read this book and you know how to prompt AI, right? Read this book. You understand how to read this book, just reading this book and just understanding a few human psychology principles. And when you couple that with what I'm doing now with AI, you can spit out high converting ads literally like clockwork, guys, right? So yeah, overall, it's a great book for everyone who wants to learn about marketing. I definitely highly recommended it because it teaches you how to create messages that resonate with people, right? You need to understand human psychology on a deep level. Nowadays, it doesn't even need to be that deep, but you just need to understand human psychology, right? So, like in a world where everything on the ad platforms is just it's literally just AI pushing it out. You just need to get everything boils down to your message. You need to get really good at the message, and the way you're gonna get good at creating messages that convert is understanding human psychology, right? And this gives you that playbook. And yeah, that concludes this video and it concludes this book review. So check this out, guys. I'm gonna post this on my YouTube. If you found this helpful, then like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.